look at the Range Rover Sport, and there is no question that these vehicles have just taken off in popularity. The previous generation full-size Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport really became very popular with the super wealthy as a status machine. Now, if you look at Land Rover, Range Rover, their history is all about being a utility vehicle. They were purpose-built vehicles for people who lived in the countryside in the UK, who maybe owned big acreage and would throw a sheep in the back. These are the kinds of stories you hear about Land Rover and Range Rover owners of years ago. But fast forward to today, these vehicles, yes, they're more capable than ever when it comes to off-road use, but the reality is they've become a major status symbol. So the people that buy them really couldn't care less if these vehicles could go up the side of a mountain or not. What they really care about is what it says on the front. Range Rover means that you have a lot of money and everybody knows it. Now, when you look at this new Range Rover, you notice that it is quite a bit bigger than the previous model. The wheelbase is really the big change. It's been stretched by 18 centimeters for more room in the inside. The overall length is just 6.7 centimeters longer than the previous model. It's 150 millimeters shorter than the previous Range Rover Sport, and it's 55 millimeters lower than the full-size next-generation Range Rover. Prices in Canada start at $73,990 for the base SE model, $78,990 for the Range Rover HSE, the one you see here, but this one has optional 21-inch wheels. The Range Rover Sport Supercharged with the V8, $91,490, and the Range Rover Sport Autobiography is over $100,000 at $104,990. So this is a very expensive vehicle. As I mentioned, it really has two masters. Now, Land Rover wanted it to be capable of doing all of the things that a Range Rover has been able to do in the past when it comes to off-road capability. They wanted to shed weight to improve how much fuel it uses, but they also are appealing to very high-end buyers that want luxury. And on the inside, I think it falls short in some ways. Now, once again, this Range Rover Sport really has two masters, the ones that want it for this pure ability and off-road capability, and those that want an opulent, luxurious vehicle. And I would say that more people are in the luxurious status symbol than those that truly want to use this off-road, if they use it off-road at all. And when you look at the interior of this product, to me it doesn't look like the price tag is asking. They're asking, you know, starting at $74,000. This one's over $80,000. And when I get in it, I don't go, wow. I go, it's kind of dull looking. It's got the head unit that they use in all of the Jaguar, Land Rover, and Range Rover vehicles, and it's not very good. I've been on record as stating it's slow, it's boggy, the navigation can be laggy, and it really is the one area that needs to be updated. Now, that's the thing. We're in this new frontier of advanced electronics and interior design, but that looks like Land Rover, Range Rover isn't playing along. That's old technology that really needs to be updated. It is improved over previous models, but still is the one shortcoming in this vehicle. Also, the steering wheel looks inexpensive. Is it a leftover Ford part? I'm not sure. The gauges behind the steering wheel look inexpensive as well. Yeah, you can get the beautiful TFT screen in the full-size Range Rover, but this one doesn't have it. The switches for the power windows are sort of cheap plastic. The bottom part of the door and everything is covered in hard plastic. Sure, there's some aluminum and wood accents in here, but really nothing that spectacular. The front of the dash is covered in vinyl. Higher end models, you can get it in full leather. But the seating position is one of the best things about any Land Rover or Range Rover. You have this command seating position. You can see out with no problem at all, and that's really one of the major selling features for people who like these trucks. However, the back seat, I've had the full-size Range Rover and I've had this Sport, and both times my kids complained that the seats really are hard in the back seat. So that's something you want to check out. In the back, tons of cargo space. There's no problem at all with room back there, the power liftgate, and you can even get an optional 2 seats back there. They call it a 5+2, meaning it's not really a 7-seater. It's 2 extra seats if you need them in a pinch. So this vehicle is expensive. However, I feel it doesn't look expensive. You get in a similarly priced Porsche Cayenne and bam, you know right away there's a lot of money went into the interior. This vehicle, I think they're resting on the name of Range Rover, as interiors really are the new frontier for vehicle design. Much more detail is going into interiors with fantastic communications, navigation units and what have you. This vehicle really, in my opinion, is a step behind. Now, I do have some gripes about the inside of this new Range Rover Sport for the price tag, but you have to hand it to Range Rover by producing a vehicle that is so much better than the previous vehicle when it comes to handling dynamics and fuel economy. This new Range Rover is 800 pounds lighter than the previous model. That is a marvel, really. Going to aluminum and shedding all of that weight, it benefits the vehicle in many, many ways. First of all, handling. The suspension could be a little bit bumpy over city roads, what I'm driving on here, but when you push it hard into the corners at higher speed, it really does deliver superbly. And because it's lighter, they've gone to a supercharged V6 engine as the base engine with 340 horsepower. Now, the top end model is the supercharged V8 with 510 horsepower. That's a ton of power. Now, this V6 has a different sound of the previous model. That's something that takes a little bit of getting used to, but it does have a nice raspiness to it under hard throttle. But most of the time driving around town, you don't really notice much in the way of the engine sound. In addition, there are a choice of transfer cases. There's a single-speed torsion unit or a two-speed with a locking low range, which is the one that people who go off-road are going to want. It's an 8-speed automatic transmission. Of course, it goes to all four wheels, and these trucks really are capable. It's got the terrain response system in the center of the console here, and you just dial in exactly what you're looking for, kind of auto. It has snow, it has off-road and sand and a bunch of other things, and it really does, with the control unit and the way that the system works, it can scamper up pretty much anything, and that's why Range Rover invests so much money into their off-road capability. Back to my point, though, I think that a lot of people are going to drive it exactly the way I am, which is in the city because of the badge on the front, and let everybody know that you're driving something expensive. There are two new supercharged engines, the V6 and the V8, but what this vehicle doesn't have, which all of the major competitors have, is a diesel engine. Now, you think about what a diesel engine delivers. It delivers lots of torque, which is fantastic for off-roading, and much improved fuel economy. And that's really what this truck is missing. If it had a powerful and torquey, say like the Audi V6 turbo with 428 foot-pounds of torque, or the Cayenne diesel that has tons of power, that would really make a nice complement to this vehicle. It's sold in other parts of the world with the diesel, but not here in North America. And Canadians really love diesel products. You look at the German competition, they're selling very well with diesel engines compared to gasoline engines. This truck is much improved over the previous model. The extra legroom in the back seat is definitely welcome for families, and the beautiful exterior says a lot. This really is an impressive looking machine as well. I gotta tell you, I'm really conflicted with this new Range Rover. Of course, the badge says a lot, and the badge has a lot of appeal, and the badge has people lining up to buy these vehicles in droves. But you know what? If you took the badge off the front of this Range Rover and say put something else on the front, it really would kind of fall short in some ways. On the inside, when it comes to luxury, I don't find it as luxurious as other products in the marketplace. The seats really are hard, especially for people sitting in the back seat. There's no diesel engine offered in this vehicle, where all of the major competitors, especially the Germans, have diesels, which offer lots of power but also improve fuel economy. The badge says it all. People like these vehicles because of the status symbol that it provides, and for those people, they're not going to watch this review. They're just going to go out and buy one of these anyway.